Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Vanguard Wall podcast. We got a little quick hit that we got lucky enough to do. We got Michael Irby in the house with us. You guys have seen him on all kinds of stuff. He was on both seasons of the Mayans. Was in one of the best TV shows I think that's been made is the Unit. Betty Blue
in the house.
Yeah, we got lucky enough to snag him. They happen to be coming into Austin, so we're gonna talk about their new movie coming out. Osiris,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Dope flick. I got to kind of watch the trailer and we just talked to Max a little bit. So, I mean, we'll just dive into it. I know you don't have a ton of time, but
no, it's all good.
Mike, you've built your career on authentic military representation. From the unit, you're in SEAL team. When your unit brother, Max Martini, creates a sci-fi military film that carries weight with military audiences who trust your judgment, tell us why Osiris deserves, this attention.
Listen, you never know what you're getting involved in when you say yes to something. And if you say yes to Martini, you really don't know what you're getting involved in.
I love that.
We were actually on vacation. We were in Europe, and my phone's blowing up, and he's like, Irby, I'm doing this sci-fi. We got aliens, man. I got a spot in it for you. And initially, I was like, I had just wrapped some pretty top shelf projects, you know what I mean? So I thought I had a little leverage, not arrogance, but a little leverage, I thought I'd created that. And then he sent me the script and I looked at it and we were just able to run and gun again. And we were tier 1 and it's such a skill. It's something that I've learned and I don't get to use it often enough. You know what I mean? And then when Max said, no, this is the story. It's us against aliens, and we are fucking trying to save mankind.
I need you on the team, bro.
I need you on the team, bro. And, I was like, like the last 2 jobs, they were very big thinker jobs. And I'm a very physical type of an actor. I'm never going to get told I'm a, crazy brain on things. But if you tell me to go here and go there fast and go there hard, that can be done. And so when I found out who was part of the film and like what we were going to be doing, I was all in. And just to be able to run and gun with the boys again and stack up and get in formation and work the guns and, work all the formations and, entering and all that kind of stuff. It's something I feel blessed to have been able to learn and put in my, in my repertoire of things that I can do now, and as an actor, you get so many opportunities to learn different bits either about yourself or about someone else or different there's so many different things that you can figure out as an actor. It's not just acting. Honestly, brother, I think we get it right. You know what I mean? We had former SEAL team operator that was kind of giving us a little bit of our our tactic and all that kind of stuff there. And I think when you see the movie, you're gonna go, oh, these guys are the real deal.
That's awesome.
And at the end of the day, that's all I want anybody to ever, whether I'm playing a drug dealer, murderer, a killer, it doesn't matter. And if I'm on this side of things, DEA, FBI, if I'm on this side of things, I've never had anybody come up and say, bro, I didn't buy it, and I believe that's a credit to not only myself, but the people who I learned from. And it's a running gunner, man. It is balls to the wall. It doesn't stop. You got to take your breath and, make sure that you kind of just jump in. But it's a fun movie. Yeah.
You and Max spent 4 years together on the unit, built that brotherhood. When you endorse his work, that means something. Yeah. What is it about his approach to this alien warfare scenario that matters, for authenticity, for the military viewers and what they can expect?
Listen, you never know who you're going to fight, right? But you know how to fight. And I don't really know if it matters who you're fighting or for what reasons, right? It's not a political situation. It's not this or that. We were trained, and in the opening part of the film, you see us fighting humans, and they're all masked and everything. But then all of a sudden, you see the abduction happen, and now we're fighting these aliens, and nothing really changes. We're still human in very extraordinary circumstances. And I think when you see us, and as far as the military world goes, I really think. I mean, I'm sure someone out there can find a fault, but God damn, it's going to be hard to find it because we really brought.
And don't be a dick, you guys. Don't really look for it, man. Let it flow.
Hey, listen, if you find it. Haters are everywhere, man. Come at me, bro. Come at me. It's all good.
Military audiences, really trust you because you don't endorse anything that doesn't respect some type of military intelligence, even if it's an alien movie. Yeah. What makes Osiris different from typical Hollywood sci-fi that treats soldiers as cannon fodder? Before you answer that, that's one thing that I thought was really cool about this show. You go to most sci-fi movies and like the soldiers are just like, they're just cannon fodder. It's like, oh, they're soldiers, and the alien just wipes them all out. So this is cool to see, kind of, the soldiers actually get some, dude.
Well, yeah, I think, I just saw that Warfare, and that's another, beautiful, beautiful story about the soldier. And at the end of the day, I don't really care what you believe in, what you stand for, but the soldier, the man, right? That is something that is undeniable. And it is, with the aliens, it just brought another element to it because, like when what I was really wanting to do is saying, okay, these are tier 1 operators. However, they are looking at aliens. They are seeing something they have never seen before. And I want you...
which could happen, bro.
Hey, brother, I believe it's happened. I mean, I believe it's happened. There's some files somewhere deep underground. And, I wanted you to see me see the alien and not register fear, but register the when you see something for the very first time. And as an actor, it's very funny because, we rehearse and we do these scenes and you and I have said these lines 20 times over, but to make the audience think that you're seeing and doing it for the very first time, I believe that's part of the craft. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That is kind of what we do. And as much as you guys, training and, as much as you're training in operation, days and weeks at a time for the actual operation, then you got to expect for the unexpected. And I think that film kind of throws it on its head a little bit where you say, oh, wow, this is what, oh, wait, I'm not watching this. These guys just got abducted and now they're somewhere BFE where we have no idea, but yeah, it's a really good ride. It's a really good ride.
And I think the cool thing about this film, Max has done a bunch of, intricate films. You've done a bunch of intricate films as well. And this is kind of one of those ones where as like an audience, we just go be entertained, right? You don't have to... I can't tell you, I've left the theater sometimes. DiCaprio's done some movies where I leave the theater. I'm like, man, I just feel like I went through algebra class, dude. Like my brain's fried. So it's cool to just go and just be entertained and really just get a 90-minute break from the storm of life. You know?
Listen, if you want to go see that other movie, go see that other movie. That's fine. But this movie is 94 minutes of run and gun. There's really nothing to figure out. It's a cat and a mouse. Sometimes we're the cat, sometimes we're the mouse. Yeah. Right? And it is just like, if you just go ahead and give that part up, because some people say, oh, I liked it, but I was just wondering. That's not the movie. That's a different movie. Yeah. And you should pay to go see that movie. But right now, that's what this one is. Sit down, hold on tight, and go for the ride.
I love it, man. Yeah. Director William Kaufman, a former Army Cav Scout who understands both military operations and filmmaking. How does that serve authentic storytelling compared to directors, without some type of, military background?
Listen, I think it's very important. There's like unsaid saids that you can get. Will wasn't a big listen, this is what you're thinking right now. Will's like, no, when you come in, I want to see a show of force and I want you to take that left and you go right and you I think you just trust him. It's like working with a director who has also been an actor, right? That's a very different thing because I believe that in order to direct or I was a soccer coach, right? But I was a big soccer player. So I was able to coach my kids and parents were like, whoa, this guy's a real coach. And it was like, yeah, because I was a real player, right? So for Will, and then when you trust somebody like that, then you just go. And I think it's very important for, his background and to color. I mean, that's what Will does. He does these really very intricate, beautiful action films. And this is my first time with him, but I imagine I will be working with him in the future. And I love him. I love his family. I love New Orleans. And I like what he's doing.
Yeah, man. He did The Channel, dude. The Channel. That movie was fire, bro.
Yeah,
it was good.
No, that was a run and gun as well.
Max chose practical effects with Todd Masters over CGI spectacle. From your experience, why does that approach better serve military viewers who can spot the fake tactic instantly, which comes with, some of the CGI stuff?
Well, I think at the end of the day, when you're in a movie and you're there to be entertained, but you're also watching reality kind of unfold as you're watching it. And with the practicals, with the aliens being actually 7 feet freaking tall, you know what I mean? And when you turn around a room, you're not looking at a tennis ball on a C-stand. You're not looking at a green screen. Because that's a lot for an actor to really pretend and use your imagination to make believe that we've seen this thing. Here, we're actually seeing these 7-foot aliens coming down the hallway there. and it changes it for an actor. It really does.
Yeah, I can't imagine having to go in and like just pretend, you know, you're clearing a building and it's just a green screen in front of you. That's got to be tough.
It is tough, and it's all taped off and this and that and the other. But like, there is something to be said. And again, like I said, I'm not a big thinker when it comes to that. Like if I'm drinking hot coffee, I want hot coffee in my cup. I don't want to have to act it, right? Like so many actors, and I come from theater, so there is a lot of stuff where you don't want to act it. You want to react to the hot cup or the cold water or you being angry at me or us falling in love. Like you want those real feelings. And then I believe the camera or whatever, that's what they catch, right? That's what they see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton joining this mission, former Sarah Connor, man, herself, choosing to work with Max on this military, you know, authentic style alien project, which is probably right up her wheelhouse. What does that tell you about the quality of this project if we got, you know, the former Sarah Connors coming on it?
Again, it just rose another level, you know. I think we were sitting at lunch one day. I think we went out to another actor, and he ended up having a health thing, and he wasn't going to be able to do it. And, you know, a couple of different names floated around. Everyone's like, yeah, you know, hey, man, we'll see what we get. We'll see what we get. Because we had already started filming. And then one of the producers said, Linda Hamilton. And you watched everyone go, what? Okay, this shit just got real. This is going to be fire.
And she hadn't been in a movie in like a couple years, right?
She hasn't been in a movie in a while. So, I mean, and, you know, she's from New Orleans. It was a really easy thing. And she crushes it in the movie. Like, she's still so beautiful. And just, she has that, you can see there was Sarah Connor there. And you know why she got cast back in the day.
Well, there must have been something about the script that drew her out, you know what I mean, of the shadows.
There's something about for everybody. You know, everybody finds their reason to get on set. And, you know, sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's just like, I haven't worked in a while. Sometimes it's like, I've never done this role. But, you know, after you've been in it for 25 years, you've kind of been there and done that. But yeah, Linda coming on board, everybody, you just felt it shoot right up. Everybody felt like we were in something special.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Movie dropped on July 25th, so that was 4 days ago. Osiris hit theaters and video on demand for maximum, you know, military family accessibility worldwide. You've seen how military community support created success for authentic films like 13 Hours, American Sniper, you know, Saving Private Ryan, and the list goes on.
I think Max was in like 4 of those. Right?
That's probably where I got it from. You know, how can we show up again, you know, for this film?
Listen, at the end of the day, if you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, shut the fuck up.
Be real quiet.
Be real quiet. No, listen, at the end of the day, you know, jump on. It's an hour and a half. It's a small commitment. You will be pleasantly surprised. If you're in any type of this video gaming kind of first person shooter kind of stuff, if you're even slightly curious or familiar about the tactics in the military world, we give it to you, and we give it to you in a way that you haven't really seen it before. And I think that's kind of what makes it special.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's a really cool way to think about it as well. This is an independent, authentic storytelling versus, you know, studio committee decisions. What message does military audience support send to Hollywood about that kind of film that they want to see?
Ooh,
sorry, that was a pretty in-depth question.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Because, you know, sometimes, like you're saying, you know, we see the military man, we see the soldier, and you know, they don't really have like I'm sick of hearing like the sad story, right? Like, I want to hear, as much as warfare, you know, like that should be the last option, you know, like those boys are changed forever in that film. And I don't know if America or if society really understands what it is that the military goes through and does for the United States of America. I think we all take it for granted, to say the least. And, you know, just the fact that we can complain is such a privilege. You know, just the fact that we can disagree is such a privilege, or agree with it. I would just like to see more, you know, if there's writers out there, if there's guys that have a story that needs to be told and they don't think it's ever been shown before, if they think that there's an understanding that your brother, your sister, or your cousin, uncle can also get it, write that movie. You know, like, let Hollywood know we want to see something else, right? Because that's the only way it's going to get done, is if we let them know.
Yeah, and that's a great point too, man, because I think we're on like 37th episode or iteration of Spider-Man and Batman. And, you know, man, like, no shade on the Marvel movies, but like it just seems like they recreate the same thing over and over, and it's like, man, we want something different.
We need something different. Not only do we want it, we need it.
Yeah.
We can see that our film industry has been hurt by it. Listen, I'll be there. I will be there, and I'll throw on my little Spidey suit and I'll jump through the windows. But I also like the story. I also think that this human connection and this human experience that we have, the further we get away from that and make everything a spectacle, it's going to make it harder just to kind of navigate our everyday life. And listen, I get it. Marvel and DC and all those movies, it's fine if there's 2 out of the 10, but it can't be 8 out of the 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. And look, man, the Marvel movies, they're good movies.
Yeah.
But it's like, how many different times can we remake Batman?
How many? And listen, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll watch it, and then I'll have an opinion about it. But like, how many times can we redo Batman and Spider-Man?
Supporting this film supports the next authentic military story, the next veteran-focused project. As someone who's built, your career on authentic representation, why is that bigger mission and really important?
Well, I think at the end of the day, like I said, it's all about that human connection. I've had a long career, and it's the military stuff that I'm really kind of most proud of, right? I felt like there was a reality there on the unit, like I can't tell you how many people, even 15 years later, my brother, my uncle, my cousin, my nephew was there. Every single time someone stops me from the unit, I get that little, like that warm, like, oh my God, thank you. Like, I'm so glad that we could do it the right way for you. And that, I played killers and gangsters and murders and drug, like I've done all those, and someone can come up and say, man, I really loved you that. And it's a very quick, oh, thanks. I was just acting. But when I'm doing the military stuff and for the military community, they've always been so supportive of me, and I've been supportive of them because of that connection.
It reminds me of a funny story you told me when we were talking on the phone. We have a mutual friend. I'm not super close to Vince. I know Vince Vargas.
Oh, yeah. Rocco.
Yeah, when Vince got on the Mayans, I think, tell that story when he was coming on the bus.
I've been working, like I said, I've been working a long time. I met a ton of people, and the Mayans, they had already shot the pilot of the Mayans, right? And I wasn't involved. I was on another show called Taken, FBI show. It's very cool, whatnot. So I came back, and my manager called me. She says, hey, they're looking for 2 recasts on the Mayans. And I said, I don't want to be in the club. I'm older. And she's like, it's for the president. I said, oh, hold on. Let me freshen up here. Let me do this. So long story short, I went in, I got the part. We were shooting the pilot and we're driving down to Mexico. And I'm a little fish out of water because these guys have all kind of clicked up already. They all know each other. They've already spent months together, and I'm the new guy and the president, right? So there's a lot of eyes on me. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll just take my little space here, and I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to wait for somebody to come up and talk to me rather than be all thirsty and everything, So I'm sitting there, and then I catch eyes with this dude, and it's Rocco. I'm like, who's this big motherfucker? And I'm like, wow, hey, and so he comes, and he's like, is this seat taken? I'm like, well, no, but there's like the entire bus is empty, bro. Like you don't have to. It's cool. He's like, no, it's all right. So he sits down, and we're like, we're riding. We're like 10 miles in. He's like, Betty Blue, and I was like, what? He's like, Betty Blue. And I was like, oh my God. And then he shared his, Ranger, and he was like, bro, we were watching you in Iraq, man. We got the DVDs, everybody was burning the DVDs like they were doing back in the day. And, that made it, that set me such at ease to know that I had a brother there who knew me from something else, who knew me from something that I was really proud of, right? Because we only see each other in these moments. And if you see me as an actor in something that you didn't like me in, that's cool, but you don't pay my bill, so I don't really care. But when Vinny said, dude, the unit was my shit, and I was like, wow, good. Awesome, let's go. And that really changed our relationship and our dynamic in the show. Because in the show, Bishop was supposed to be military, Vinny was military, and Richie Cabral was supposed to be military in the Mayans. And it really gave some of those looks that we were able to, like the unsaid said, like, we've seen it, we've been here, we've done it. And it was different than like the way that I would look at the other actors who were playing MC.
Yeah, I'm not super connected to Hollywood, but when, your name got dropped, I text Vince. I'm like, hey, man, what do you think about this dude? He's like, bro, That dude's awesome.
Yeah. I texted him right after we
Yeah.
talked. I was like, yo, dude, met Asher. He's like, oh, dude, good dude. Make sure you do that. So I'm glad, that's a good circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a kid from the desert, man. Like this is like a second and a third dream, and I could literally walk away tomorrow if it doesn't want me. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I believe I have something to offer. If the business ever gets too funky and I'm over here like really pounding it out, I can walk away and you'll never know. It's like a lineman in the NFL. They retire. You never know they retired. But I love what I do as long as it's on my terms.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to live your life in general.
Yeah.
Kind of the final question I got for you, as we're talking about this Osiris thing, the Unit Brotherhood is asking for support based on trust earned through years of authentic portrayal. I mean, you guys spent 4 years. I think there was like 69 episodes.
82 episodes of that?
82.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell hardworking families who value authenticity and service, from military and first responders to, blue collar backbone that keeps America running? What do you want to tell them about this film?
Oh, go and support the film, because if you feel any sense of connection to this team, and if you feel any sense of, sometimes you just want a release, sometimes you do just want to be entertained, right? And if you can watch this movie and feel any sense of warmth or any sense of like gratitude or gratefulness for what we do and what we all do together, I just say come out and support us.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to thank you personally. I know you're like super busy and you guys are, going all over the place, and we were able to make this happen on a super short notice. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming by and telling us about Osiris.
100%, bro.
For all you guys out there, listening to this podcast, and especially this episode, go support the movie, man. Go support. I mean, we just had Max on. You got to hear about who he is as a person. Support this film. We waste money every day at Starbucks and all kinds of shit.
It's like a double triple latte.
Yeah,
You know what
bro,
I mean?
yeah.
I think you can get it for like $14.99.
I mean, and if you don't want to get out of your PJs, man, then order that stuff online. Bro.
Exactly. Go get some popcorn, get a blankie, turn the AC up, and just
Absolutely.
enjoy the movie. Because if they support the movie, then obviously, I mean, it wasn't a crazy big budget, right? But we made it look like a really big movie. And if we get back to if we get back to our money and get back into the black, we'll make another one.
Yeah.
Will's he's very productive, and he's got a good team here. And if you like this, then there's a prequel, there's a sequel, there's something else that can happen. If it's not this, it could be something else,
Yeah. Well, or, man, maybe he's got another, Channel was great. Like, that was a different movie. It doesn't necessarily have to be another alien movie or whatever, man.
No.
But that's a great point.
Military-based type movie is something where you get to see yourself put in a good light. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's important for all of our listeners out there to listen to too, man. You're not just supporting this movie when you pay to see it. You're actually supporting the next movie, because if this movie, if it goes well, then that supports another project.
Money is real, right?
Yeah.
Everyone understands that how we make another movie is through the money. And that's like, I don't care how much I believe in it. I don't care. I could sit here and you know what I mean? Like,
that doesn't pay your mortgage.
It doesn't pay the mortgage. And I can tell you all day, it's a great film, but like, if we don't make money, how, you know what I mean? So it really does come down to people coming out and, supporting the film so that we can keep that story going.
Dope. All right, man. Well, I just, again, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for stopping by. You guys support the movie, and be safe out there. And if you can't be safe, be violent out here.